Hi, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a really good holiday and that you're having a very nice weekend. This is gonna be fairly quick because I know nobody has a lot of time right now. I did want to try to come up with something that isn't necessarily Christmas because not everybody celebrates Christmas. So this one is, it's not especially holiday-y, but we are gonna paint it on an ornament. You would not have to paint it on an ornament. You could paint it on a canvas. You could paint it in your sketchbook. You could paint it wherever. But it's just kind of an easy, pretty thing to paint that would make a nice gift for someone, and it doesn't take a lot of time. We're gonna paint on a little wood slice ornament. Now, you can buy these at Michael's, and I think they're a little bit more expensive than if you buy them online. I got these, I think there were 12 of these in the pack, and I will link them for you if I can find them again. But they're a kind of fun thing to paint. They've got like the bark edge, and it's really simple to paint on them. You don't have to prepare it or anything like that. So this is what I'm gonna use, but I know a lot of you do not have one of these readily available. So you can paint this on a piece of paper, on a canvas, in your sketchbook. And then if you decide that you like it, you could always go back and do it on an ornament. You may also be able to find these little unfinished ornaments. This one I'm pretty sure did come from Michael's, so this is another option. Or you could get something like this. This is like just like a wooden plaque that you could give someone to hang on their wall. Something like this would be really cute and something kind of different than just a regular canvas. This is an acrylic painting, so I'm gonna use a paper plate as my palette. It's not gonna take a lot of paint because we're painting on a very small surface. That's also why it's fast. So put it on a card, that would be a good idea. If you do it on something like this, it's gonna take a little bit more paint. It's gonna take a little longer. Same thing on like a bigger canvas. But one of those little mini canvases that you can put on the little mini easel, that would be a super cute gift. I got really sidetracked, sorry. Acrylic paint. Okay, so I am gonna use, this is just like the Michael's brand craft paint. And I have chosen fuchsia, aqua, this is orange, and then I have two different yellows. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use. One is bright yellow, one is light yellow. Definitely you're gonna need some white, and then you want some kind of green. And I couldn't find a green that I really liked in my craft paint. They all looked kind of chalky, so I'm gonna use this green gold, which is Liquitex, which is a much nicer kind of paint. If you're gonna buy nice paint, this is a great color. I go back to this color constantly. Green gold in watercolor and in acrylic is one of my favorite colors. That's a side note, but I think I am gonna use the green gold because like I said, I looked through these and I just couldn't find one that was speaking to me. So that is personal choice. I'm gonna use a Filbert brush, which has this rounded point on it, and this is a size 4, but any brush will work. And at the very, very end, I think we probably will add some glitter. So there will be a little bit of glue and glitter, and people are very split on glitter. It's in my house for sure, because like I love it. Give me all the glitter all the time. My husband can't stand it. So I have been asked to contain my glitter use to the holidays only. But it's time. It is time. This is my time for glitter. So I'm gonna use it. Okay, I think that's it. Let's get started. So I have my little wood slice ornament here and my paper plate for my palette, and I put down my little board that I use so that I don't get paint on my desk because I am a mess when I paint, always. I've tried to be not a mess and it doesn't work. I'm still a mess. In fact, I'm gonna push up my sleeves. Good idea. So I'm gonna do my background with this aqua, and it's not gonna take very much. In fact, I could have just put it on the wood slice itself. That probably would have wasted less paint. Of course, then if you get too much, you gotta like wipe it off, which is not great. So paper plate, I guess, is probably the best choice. So I'm just gonna paint my background, and I am kind of going close to the edge, but not all the way to the edge. And we're just gonna cover this whole thing. If it's not perfectly smooth, it's fine. Don't worry about it, because this is the background. We're gonna paint over this. We're gonna cover the majority of this actually, so don't stress out about this. That's it. Now we gotta let this dry. We're gonna do some abstract flowers on this, and you could really do this in whatever colors you want. If you want to do like really Christmassy colors, you could definitely do that. I want this to be sort of colorful and not Christmassy, but you can do whatever you like to do. So I'm just putting my colors down here on my paper plate. Whoops. Oh, my white is pretty thick. We'll see how that goes. And then I am gonna need a little bit of yellow. And like I said, I'm not sure. I feel like that might be a little bit too bright. So I'm gonna do a little bit. I may mix those together, because they are pretty bright. I mean, my pink and my orange are pretty bright too, but we are going to add some white, and it's gonna kind of tone it down a little bit. So I washed off my brush. This is the same brush that I used to do the background. I washed it off, and I dried it so that it's not like soaking wet. And basically what we want to do is we want to sort of pick a spot for 3 main flowers. So I'm going to do a pink flower sort of up here, and that's what I'm going to start with. And when you do this, you're not overthinking it. It's going to be hard, but we're not. We will not overthink it. We're just going to do little dots. This is going to be our flower, and it's kind of see-through on this teal or aqua or whatever you want to call it, and that's okay. If you see some of that blue poking through, that's all right. So I'm just doing like little dots of paint with my brush. That's it. That's what we're doing. Okay, so that is the flower for now. Now what we want to do is we're going to take some of that same fuchsia. This is really thin. It is not the greatest, but I'm going to mix it in with some white, and my white is really thick, so that may solve the problem. So I'm doing a lighter version of this pink because I've mixed in the white, and we're just going to go around and we're going to add some more little petals in here. So we've got that little layer going, and now I'm going to put even more white in. So now it's pretty light, and I'm just gonna put it in even more like little petally shapes. It's just giving us a little variation in our flower. We're gonna do this with all 3 of them. So we're gonna do an orange one next. So your brush is probably really loaded with all sorts of paint, and that's okay. We're gonna grab some of that orange mixed in. It's fine on our brush. We're not gonna worry about it. Maybe we'll just do it right here. Whoa, that was like a big blob. So this one is just kind of kind of somewhat behind that one, I guess. I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit further. So there's that guy. And we're gonna add some more white in here to lighten that up. Just gives us a little bit of a different value, and go in and just dab in some more of those little petals. And more white. So you can see like what I have is just a big blob, a big blobby mess down here. But it's just giving us a slightly different value to put in there. So I'm just creating just a little bit of depth in this super simple flower. For this one, I think I want this one to be white. So I am gonna clean my brush this time. So I just have my little thing of water here. Just gonna swirl this around. I just dripped, it's okay. And here's my trusty dusty towel. So my brush is pretty clean now. So I do need to get some more white. Let's put some more white in here because I want this to be actually white and not mixed with anything else. And that's way too much. I just put way too much on that plate. We will not use the majority of that. That's all right. Same thing. So we're gonna put this one's gonna be like, it's kind of in between these guys. So I'm just doing the same thing that I did before. You can kind of rotate the wood slice or whatever you're painting on. Okay. So there's that one. So he's kind of partway like behind this one. I may actually end up putting a leaf in the middle so that it looks more like a sideways flower. So this part right here, we're gonna put a leaf in here and we're gonna make this one like a sideways flower, I think. So for this one, because we're using white, I want the center of this one to be this sort of lighter, let's do some of this lighter peachy color. And we'll just put a little bit of this in here. So it's sort of like, are you getting the vision? I feel like I didn't explain that very well, but like this is the side view of the flower. So we're gonna do it this way. Okay. Now go ahead and clean off your brush again. It doesn't have to be like totally clean, but somewhat clean. And now we're gonna go back to our pink. And I wanna put just a little bit of pink in the center. Let's put a little bit of pink in the center of this one. So this is that same brush, you know, we haven't changed anything up here. Put a little bit of pink in the center of that one. Let's put a little bit of pink in the center of this one too. So it's like barely anything, right? But it will be just enough to make it look like it's got the idea of a center in there. And it can be like kind of messy, you know? Your colors can mix. That's part of what makes it all work together and look cohesive, because we've got sort of all the same colors in there together. So I'm just wiping off my brush again. And now I'm gonna use some of this yellow. So I'm gonna mix some of my yellows together to get a sort of in between these two. This yellow is really thin too. So this is the thing with craft paint. When you use craft paint, there's a lot of variation in it. Good paints are really nice. They're really nice, but I know a lot of people don't have good paints, and I want to use what you have as much as possible. So, so that's where we're doing this. Okay, so now we're gonna let's just put a little bit of yellow in the center of these. And we're gonna do a little bit of yellow in the center of this one too. I think this one might need a little orange or something in there too, because we didn't do the pink. Okay. I'm wiping my brush off without rinsing it because I don't want it to be wet. But let's put a little bit of this orange in here too, because the yellow looks too harsh to me in the center of that one, and actually it's a little harsh. I think I should have just gone with the lighter yellow. Just put a little bit of that lighter yellow in there. And I think I'm gonna put a little bit, I actually need a little bit more of this pink. See, I just put the end of the thing in the paint. This is how I end up making a mess, even when like there's no reason to make a mess. I'm gonna put a little bit of pink in the center here. So we have all kinds of little layers going. All right. So those look pretty good to me. I'm gonna clean off my brush a little bit here. And now I'm gonna get my green. Let's put a little bit of green down. So my thought process with this is that I'm gonna put some leaves in, and then we'll probably do some little like buds to fill in some more of the space. So I've cleaned off my brush. My brush is now clean again. And we're gonna use this green to just start putting in some little leaves. So I'm just doing like a little same basic dotting motion that I did with the flowers. To give the idea of leaves here. And so in here was where I was saying we would do some leaves in here. Let's make one that looks like it's, there we go. So I'm kind of turning it in my hand as I do this. You can tell this green is like thicker. It's more pigmented. That is what you get with the nicer paint. Put one kind of behind that petal there. Okay. I'm gonna go to my blue here, and I'm gonna mix in just a little bit of the blue with the green to get a slightly different green. And we're just gonna keep adding a few little leaves here. So this slightly different green that we have made, just putting a little bit of that in. So I think the way that we can fix this is to put a few petals over the top of it, over the top of this center part with this pink, so that this flower looks like it's coming out more. But we have to wait for the green to dry to be able to do that. So let's clean our brush again and let's add some little buds. So make sure to dry your brush off after you put it in the water, because you don't want to dilute your paint at all. And so I'm gonna mix some of this really light yellow with some of the white. And let's just do like, this is gonna be just the idea of like a little bud there. And then maybe we'll do one like right there. And we'll put one up here and maybe down here. Let's let this dry, and then we'll add a couple petals in around this center point and do the glitter. So we want to fix this little center part because it is just kind of like, it's just kind of bugging me. So we're going to get some of this fuchsia and we're just going to cover a little bit of that with that pink color. The pink is pretty transparent. And actually, I think because you can't see that blue behind it, it looks like a slightly different color. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that blue in. See if I can make it match a little better. Because it looks kind of purpley on top of the blue. I think that looks better. I'm just wiping my brush off. And then let's take a little bit of this peach and we're gonna just bring this one out just a little bit too. So it's kind of laying on top of that green that's in the center. I think that helps. So the only other thing we really want to do is add a little bit of glitter. And I think that the center parts of the flower are where I want to do it. So we're going to use just some regular school glue, and I'm going to put just a little bit on my plate here. And you can actually take the end of your paintbrush and dip it in the glue to get just some little dots of glue. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to do some little dots in the middle of all of my flowers. Just so it doesn't look like a solid blob of glitter. It'll look a little bit more intentional, I guess. Okay, and we'll do just a little bit up here in this little bud, down here in this little bud. And maybe over here too. Yeah, my husband, he just cannot stand it. He cannot stand the glitter. We've been married, 25 years, and he always talks about how, like, my favorite things are glitter and dogs. And he can't stand glitter and dog hair in the house. Like, it drives him up a wall. And I'm like, more glitter, more dogs. I'm only allowed one dog, and I'm only allowed glitter at the holidays. I say allowed. That's our agreement. That is what we have agreed upon. But okay, so this is the extra fine glitter. I got this at Michael's. It's like the really, really like super fine, sandy kind of glitter. This is my favorite kind of glitter to use on this kind of thing because I don't want like big chunks. I just want a little bit of sparkle. See, like even just that just makes me happy. Just that palette with the glitter on it. Yeah, it's good. It's all good. Okay. So I think some of my paint was maybe still slightly wet, so I got a little bit of glitter kind of everywhere. I'm fine with that. More glitter the better. So that's it. I told you it was going to be quick. I will show you what it looks like when the glue is dry. I put a little sparkly ribbon on it, and I think I got more glitter on myself from the ribbon than from using the actual glitter. But it looks very pretty, and it would be really pretty on a tree. If you don't want to do the wood slice thing, like I said, just get a canvas or a piece of wood or something else to paint on. But these little flowers are super easy. Anybody can do this. I hope you try it.